They thought breaking you would be easy, that if they buried you under enough ridicule, betrayal, or chaos, you'd disappear quietly. But instead you rose, not just intact, but luminous, unshaken, and more focused than ever. What they failed to grasp is that your departure wasn't a retreat. It was a sacred realignment. You didn't flee, you ascended. You left behind what was beneath you, not out of fear, but out of clarity. The truth is, you never needed to fight for space in places you'd already outgrown. Your presence alone now silences the noise, because everyone feels it. You didn't just survive, you evolved. The instant you shattered their illusion and stepped fully into your truth, their entire narrative began to collapse. They built a fragile empire on the idea that you were small, controllable, unsure of yourself. But now, every move you make exposes the lies they clung to. You're no longer bending to fit the roles they assigned you, you're rewriting the entire story in your own voice. And that terrifies them. Because now they're being forced to confront the reality that you were never broken, just buried. And what's emerging isn't just powerful, it's unstoppable. Your rise is unraveling everything they believed about themselves. They're being forced to reckon with a truth far more devastating than your strength. It's the realization that their power was always an illusion, sustained only by your silence. Now that you're no longer playing small, their mask of dominance is crumbling. The energy they used to oppress you is ricocheting back, dismantling the false hierarchy they built. This isn't just your breakthrough, it's their collapse. And the most haunting part? It's all happening without you lifting a finger. It wasn't random. It was orchestrated, layered with silent agreements and whispered betrayals. Some smiled in your face while planting seeds of doubt behind your back, twisting your story into something unrecognizable. The poison wasn't just in what was said, but in what was believed without question. They passed judgment like it was tradition, bonding over falsehoods instead of truth. Your name became a cautionary tale, a target, a scapegoat, all so they could avoid facing their own shadows. But what they didn't anticipate was your ability to rise from the smear campaign with clarity, grace, and a power they can't explain. The same voices that once tore you down are now trying to soften their tone, hoping you've forgotten the damage they caused. But you remember how your generosity was exploited, how your name was tarnished before you could even speak for yourself. You remember the betrayals wrapped in fake smiles and the jealousy disguised as concern. Now, as you elevate far beyond their reach, they're scrambling for proximity, suddenly praising what they used to mock. The sibling who once competed with your every breath now seeks refuge in your presence, not out of love, but because the life they built on lies is crumbling. But you're not bitter, you're aware, and that awareness is your shield. You no longer feel guilty for protecting your peace. What they once called family loyalty was really just emotional blackmail wrapped in obligation. Now you see it clearly. Every passive-aggressive comment, every guilt trip, every moment they made you question your own worth was part of a deeper attempt to dim your light. But you've reclaimed your energy, sealed your spiritual borders, and revoked access to anyone who once fed off your confusion. This isn't bitterness, it's discernment. And with that clarity, you're no longer available for roles in their drama or redemption arcs. You realize this was never just about misunderstandings or hurt feelings. It was spiritual warfare disguised as family dysfunction. The attacks weren't accidental. They were calculated attempts to siphon your light and reroute your destiny. But you answered the call. You became fluent in the language of energy, sharpening your intuition like a blade, mastering rituals of protection, cleansing, and elevation. You didn't just survive the assault, you reversed it. Now, every attempt to harm you ricochets back with divine precision. You're not just protected, you're untouchable, because you've become the architect of your own energetic empire. Your presence alone now acts as a spiritual alarm, unsettling anyone who once thrived in your absence or underestimated your divine power. You didn't just wake up, you rose fully armored, guided by intuition sharper than any weapon they could ever forge. The chaos they're experiencing isn't random, it's the backlash of attempting to war with someone chosen, someone anointed. They can feel the shift in the atmosphere when you enter a room because you no longer walk, your energy commands. And every breakdown they endure is a byproduct of the truth they tried to bury. You were never the weak one. You were the storm coming to collect. You realize that the battles you faced weren't just personal, they were prophetic. Your soul was marked long before the attacks began, and that mark made you a threat to everything built on deception. So you stopped explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You fortified your spirit, aligned with higher realms, and let your energy speak louder than words ever could. Now, your glow disrupts illusions. Your very breath disrupts curses. And every time they feel that sudden wave of panic or unexplainable heaviness, it's not a coincidence. It's the weight of your unshakable return. But your courage in owning your story, the raw, unfiltered truth of your struggles and healing, has shattered their attempts to twist your reality into shame. Where they tried to paint you as broken or unstable, you've shown up as resilient and radiant, breaking stigma with every honest word you share. Their cruel exaggerations fall flat against the power of your vulnerability and strength. You've reclaimed the narrative, transforming what they weaponized into your greatest testament of survival and growth. Now, their rumors echo hollow, drowned out by the undeniable force of your authenticity. They abandoned you in your darkest hours, then twisted the story to make you the villain, casting stones from their glass houses of denial and avoidance. The pain they caused became your fault in their eyes, a convenient scapegoat to avoid accountability. While you grappled with the chaos they orchestrated, they whispered lies to justify their neglect, labeling your very survival instincts as flaws. But you know the truth. Your sensitivity was a shield, your tears a testament to endurance, and your strength born from navigating storms they refused to acknowledge. Their accusations reveal more about their own brokenness than yours. The bitter twist is that those who once dismissed your need for genuine connection are now scrambling to find refuge in the very support they once rejected. Their harsh judgments were nothing more than mirrors reflecting the cracks in their own armor, fear, self-doubt, and unspoken wounds they couldn't face. When they told you to seek better, they were confessing their own unworthiness, silently begging for a lifeline they never thought they deserved. Meanwhile, you held the key to healing all along, your presence a rare gift they couldn't recognize until it was no longer theirs to claim. At that party, your presence shines like a beacon, unapologetically whole despite the battles you've faced. Conversations spark around your resilience, and quietly, people lean in, drawn to the strength in your story. Those who once whispered behind closed doors now watch as you laugh freely, embodying a truth they can't deny. Your bravery in embracing vulnerability has flipped the script, turning stigma into solidarity. Together with your close friend, you're not just attending. You're rewriting the narrative, showing everyone that healing is not weakness, but the fiercest form of power there is. The double standard is glaring and painfully clear, but you refuse to let their hypocrisy define your worth. While they weaponize gossip to tear you down, you hold tight to your integrity, knowing that true loyalty isn't selective, it's unconditional. You see the difference between judgment rooted in fear and the freedom that comes from owning your choices without shame. Their whispers say more about their own insecurities than about your character. You walk forward with grace, unbothered by the noise, because you understand that respect is earned through truth, not through unfair comparisons or shallow rumors. You embody authenticity in a world that often rewards conformity, and that makes you both a threat and a mystery to those stuck in their comfort zones. While others skate through life's ordinary moments unnoticed or forgiven, your every step is scrutinized, your every choice magnified under a harsh spotlight. Yet, what they fail to see is that your flaws are simply the marks of a soul refusing to be diminished or silenced. You challenge the status quo simply by being unapologetically yourself, offering a vibrant spark where others settle for dull repetition. And that kind of courage always unsettles those who fear change more than they fear truth. Every time you show up in your truth, unapologetic, thriving, and authentic, it's like a mirror reflecting back their lies, their projections, their failed attempts to define you. Your success isn't just inspiring, it's exposing. The life you're living now is undeniable proof that you were never what they said. You were always what they feared. Your openness, your glow, your resilience is the ultimate rebuttal. You didn't have to defend yourself with words, you let your evolution speak for you. And now every post, every win, every joyful moment is a quiet annihilation of their carefully constructed falsehoods. They built invisible cages with rules designed only to trap you, shifting the goalposts just when you thought you could catch a breath. Their judgment wasn't about your actions, it was about maintaining control over a freedom they secretly feared. While they granted themselves and their favorites endless loopholes and second chances, you were left to bear the weight of impossible expectations. This wasn't justice, it was a power play, a way to remind you that your independence threatened their fragile grip. But you see through their tactics now, and every attempt to confine you only fuels your drive to break free even harder. They underestimated the power that comes from owning your independence, the fierce kind that doesn't just survive, but thrives beyond their narrow expectations. Their need to label you as dependent was a desperate attempt to keep you small, to box you into a role where they could feel in control. But your financial autonomy, your unshakable self-reliance, shattered their illusions and threatened their carefully constructed hierarchy. What they mistook for weakness was actually the quiet storm of your resilience, and every step you take away from their judgment is a declaration. You are no one's possession, and no one's illusion can contain your rise. All you wanted was what everyone deserves, a connection rooted in kindness, balance, and respect. Yet their insecurities twisted your genuine needs into weaknesses, painting you as needy or demanding simply because you dared to ask for what was fair. Their rejection wasn't about you, it was a reflection of their own fear of vulnerability and inability to give what they themselves lacked. While you extended your hand in trust, they recoiled, mistaking support for obligation. But your yearning for authentic connection never made you a burden. It revealed the emptiness in their own hearts, and your clarity is the light guiding you toward the love you truly deserve. Now, as you stand tall and unapologetically radiant, they're forced to reckon with their own failures, watching in stunned silence as you thrive despite the absence of their care. The very strength they tried to diminish has become undeniable proof of your resilience. They see clearly now that their neglect was not just a betrayal, but a mirror reflecting their inability to hold space for your pain. Their silence during your struggles echoes louder than any apology ever could, and as you rise above their indifference, they're left grappling with the truth. You didn't just survive, you soared, fueled by a fire they never helped ignite. They saw your light and felt its brilliance was beyond their reach. So rather than striving to grow or rise to the occasion, they projected their insecurities onto you, doubting your judgment, questioning your worth, and ultimately failing to recognize the treasure they held. Their inability to meet you where you stood revealed more about their fears than about your value. Instead of honoring your love and effort, they chose to shrink away, leaving you to carry the weight of disappointment alone. But you know your worth is not determined by their readiness. It's anchored in the unwavering truth of who you are, radiant, deserving, and unapologetically whole. Their inability to accept your love wasn't a reflection of your worth. It was a glaring symptom of their own fractured self-image. They carried a silent shame, believing they were unworthy of the very connection they secretly craved, and instead of healing, they projected that pain onto you. The fear of standing beside someone extraordinary exposed their deepest insecurities, forcing them to retreat rather than rise. In their minds, the gap between who they were and who you are was too vast to bridge, so they created distance, leaving you to navigate the heartbreak of loving someone trapped by their own limitations. After retreating into the quiet sanctuary of your own growth, you emerge reborn, wings stronger, spirit sharper, and purpose clearer than ever before. You chose your healing with intention, cutting ties to toxicity and surrounding yourself with souls who lift rather than drain. Now, your energy radiates with a magnetic pull that's impossible to ignore. Those who once overlooked you are suddenly drawn to the authenticity and power you embody. They want a piece of your light, desperate to decipher the strength behind your calm, yearning to be part of the new world you've created, one where you no longer settle, but soar unapologetically. There's a quiet regret simmering beneath the surface of many who once took you for granted, a deep ache for the bond they allowed to slip through their fingers. This isn't just about romance, it's about every relationship where your light was overshadowed by their fear and envy. They built walls and set traps, unconsciously or not, forcing you into unwinnable battles just to justify their own insecurities. Now, faced with the reality of your undeniable worth, they're left grappling with the loss of a connection they never truly nurtured, a loss that echoes as a painful reminder of what happens when fear eclipses love. You were caught in a relentless no-win game, where every choice was twisted to fit someone else's narrative. Too strong, too vulnerable, never quite right by their impossible standards. Now, as they watch you stand tall despite the isolation they forced upon you, the truth sinks in with uncomfortable weight. You survived because you had no other option. Their expectation that you should be flawless and self-sufficient was never about your growth. It was about their need to avoid accountability. And that realization shatters the fragile illusions they held about themselves, exposing how much they underestimated the power forged in your solitude. They trapped you in a cruel paradox, damned if you do, damned if you don't, crafting a narrative where your every need was weaponized against you. But you broke free from their script, rewriting your story with fierce independence and undeniable success. Your achievements, once unthinkable to them, now stand as undeniable proof that their predictions were nothing more than desperate fantasies. Watching you thrive on your own terms shakes the very foundation of their beliefs, forcing them to confront the uncomfortable truth. You were never theirs to control, and your rise is the ultimate rebellion against their limits. The illusion they clung to, that you would stay small, dependent, and easily controlled, is shattering like glass under the weight of your unstoppable momentum. Every step you took, whether humble or bold, was a declaration of independence, a refusal to be boxed into their limited expectations. Whether you leaned on practical solutions or forged your own path through sheer determination, the message is clear. Your success isn't theirs to grant or revoke. You've built your life on your terms, thriving without waiting for validation, proving that true power comes from within, and no one holds the key but you. While they fueled their lives with chaos and tension, mistaking noise for meaning, you found wisdom in stillness and peace. They branded you as conflict-averse, but you recognized a deeper truth, that not every moment requires a fight or a defense. You learned to value harmony without sacrificing your strength, to choose joy over discord, and to cultivate relationships rooted in respect rather than rivalry. Where they saw silence as weakness, you saw space for growth and connection. Their addiction to drama only highlighted your grace in navigating life's storms with calm resilience and a heart open to genuine love. They never paused to appreciate the light you brought into their world, the laughter, the insight, the authenticity that set you apart. Instead, they wielded judgment like a weapon, dissecting your every move with relentless scrutiny, as if your life were a puzzle they were desperate to break apart. This relentless nitpicking wasn't about caring, it was about control, insecurity, and a deep discomfort with your freedom. Over time, these small cuts compounded, eroding trust and warmth, leaving behind fractured bonds where genuine friendship once had the potential to grow. Their obsession with trivial flaws blinded them to the rare gift of your presence, a loss that speaks volumes about their own fears and limitations. You've discovered the power of letting go, recognizing that not every difference demands a battle, and that peace often lies in stepping away rather than forcing change. Choosing your own peace over pointless conflict is your new standard, a boundary that protects your energy and honors your growth. Meanwhile, those around you are beginning to see the weariness their harsh judgments have caused, the bridges burned by relentless confrontation. Slowly, the mirror reflects their own patterns, showing them the cost of endless resistance. And as you move forward with grace and calm, They're left to reckon with the freedom you found in simply choosing yourself. There's an undeniable glow surrounding you now, a vibrant energy that radiates from within and captures everyone's attention without effort. Your laughter echoes freely, your eyes sparkle with renewed passion, and your entire presence feels alive with purpose and joy. Strangers pause mid-step, caught off guard by the light you carry, as if you're a living reminder of what it means to truly thrive. This isn't just beauty, it's a soul awakened, a spirit unchained, captivating hearts in a way that words can't fully explain. You've become a force of nature, magnetic, radiant, and utterly unforgettable. Your brilliance has become a target, sparking a toxic undercurrent of jealousy so fierce it drives some to orchestrate attacks from the shadows. They invest time and energy into schemes meant to tarnish your reputation, hiring trolls to flood your online spaces with venom, stirring conflict where none exists, and waiting for any crack in your armor to exploit. Their desperation to dim your light reveals just how deeply threatened they feel by your rise. But beneath their calculated efforts lies a fundamental truth. No amount of noise or sabotage can silence the power and authenticity that pulse through your very being. There's a desperate pain behind their actions, a fear so raw that it twists admiration into resentment. They ache to rewrite your story, to turn your strength into a cautionary tale they can claim as their own triumph. But their attempts to dim your light only expose their insecurity, revealing a heart wounded by envy and loneliness. As they watch your resilience shine brighter with every attack, the tears they shed aren't just of anger, but of helplessness, grieving the truth that no sabotage can touch the unbreakable spirit you carry. Their victory was never yours to lose. It was theirs to forfeit the moment they chose to fight against your rise. Your true essence shines beyond any fleeting shadow cast by others' attempts to tarnish you. No moment of vulnerability diminishes the undeniable strength and beauty that define who you are at your core. Those who try to use your pain against you only expose their own bitterness and pettiness, false victors clinging to illusions of power that crumble under the weight of your authenticity. In the eyes of those who truly see, you remain unshaken, a beacon of resilience and grace, proving that genuine strength isn't about never falling, but rising with unwavering courage every single time. Those caught in the cycle of scarcity often fail to see that their own bitterness and need to dominate have become the chains holding them back. Consumed by the desire to tear others down and cling to hollow victories, they unknowingly sabotage their own paths to abundance and fulfillment. Their energy, spent on envy and control, drains the very resources that could have nurtured growth and connection. In their quest to feel superior, they've built walls that isolate them from true opportunity, proving that real prosperity flows not from conquest, but from kindness, collaboration, and an open heart. As they scramble to make sense of your rise, they're forced to confront a truth they've long avoided. Success isn't handed out, it's earned through integrity, vision, and resilience. Your wealth isn't just a reflection of money in the bank, but of the values you uphold and the respect you command. Meanwhile, the very foundations they relied on, built from manipulation and blame, are crumbling beneath their feet, exposing the emptiness of their pursuits. Their downfall is a stark reminder that true prosperity flows from accountability and authenticity, not from exploiting others or shirking responsibility. And as your fortune flourishes, theirs dwindles, a living testament to the law of cause and effect they can no longer deny. You shattered the role they tried to trap you in, the easy target, the perpetual lesser in their eyes. Your rise has stripped away their crutch, leaving them exposed to the uncomfortable reality of their own limitations. Their poverty runs far deeper than dollars and cents. It's a famine of the soul, a void where abundance and growth were never allowed to take root. Trapped in a mindset that sees your triumph as their loss, they remain blind to the truth. Your success doesn't shrink their possibilities. It expands the horizon for everyone brave enough to step into their power. While they wasted energy tearing others apart, You invested in yourself, cultivating skills, forging meaningful connections, and nurturing a mindset rooted in growth and possibility. Their fixation on judgment blinded them to the very actions that would have elevated their own lives. Now, faced with the undeniable proof of your success, they must wrestle with the uncomfortable truth that their scarcity was self-imposed. As they stare at the path you carved through persistence and wisdom, they're forced to reckon with the gap between who they are and who they could have been, had they chosen creation over destruction. They wanted to cage you in a narrative of powerlessness, hoping you'd lose sight of your own strength and potential. But while they polished their facades and clung to illusions, you quietly built foundations, brick by brick, rooted in action, self-belief, and relentless determination. They thrived on keeping you small, distracted by blame and sorrow, but you chose a different path, one of empowerment, responsibility, and growth. Their attempt to trap you in despair became the very catalyst that ignited your resolve to rise, proving that true power emerges not from victimhood, but from the courage to rewrite your own story. They thrived on your struggles, weaving a web where they could play judge, savior, and captor, all roles designed to keep you tethered to their control. But you shattered that cycle, shedding the weight of self-doubt and embracing a vision of yourself rooted in hope, strength, and relentless forward motion. The mental chains they forged around you now lie broken, replaced by a fierce clarity and unshakable confidence. Their tactics no longer find purchase because you've reclaimed your narrative, refusing to be baited into their drama or to seek validation outside of your own truth. The power they once wielded over you is gone, and with it, their desperation grows. Because they know deep down they can never bully you into submission again. Now, standing in the fullness of your radiant power, you've transcended their illusions and low expectations. Their attempts to control you bounce harmlessly off the armor of your unshakable confidence and deep self-awareness. Where they once saw vulnerability, they now witness unwavering strength, a presence so authentic it defies their need for control. The childish image they painted of you was never the truth. It was their desperate fantasy. And as they grapple with the reality that you can no longer be bent or broken by their manipulation, they're forced to confront their own misplaced arrogance, questioning how they ever believed they held power over a spirit as fierce and free as yours. They're slowly waking up to the reality that the power they once thought they wielded over you was an illusion, fragile and fleeting at best. Your worth no longer dances to the tune of their judgments or whispers. It springs from a deep well within, anchored in your own truth and unshakable self-respect. While they scramble to inflate their egos through association or control, you stand firm, a living testament to the freedom that comes from self-sovereignty. In their desperate attempts to claim significance, they reveal their own emptiness while you move boldly forward, untethered, unstoppable, and entirely your own. They built their sense of power on the fragile foundation of your suppression, feeding off your setbacks to mask their own fears and inadequacies. But your rise has shattered that illusion, leaving them grasping at shadows where control once lived. The battles they wage against you are fueled not by reality, but by the emptiness inside themselves, a desperate scramble to reclaim status that was never truly theirs. Meanwhile, you stand untouched by their noise, rooted in confidence and grace, knowing that their rivalry is a reflection of their struggle, not a contest you need to win. Your strength isn't measured by their approval. It exists beyond their reach, unwavering and absolute. You recognize the desperation behind their challenge, an echo of unresolved pain and insecurity masquerading as bravado. Their attempts to spark conflict and claim rivalry fall flat against your serene confidence and higher awareness. Where they seek to stir drama and draw lines in the sand, you choose harmony and growth, refusing to engage in battles that serve no purpose but to distract and divide. Their noise is just background static to your focused clarity. You're not here to prove anything or win petty contests. You're here to rise, evolve, and build bridges while they remain stuck in cycles they can't yet break free from. You've transcended the chaos of petty power plays, stepping fully into your own truth and purpose. Their desperate attempts to reclaim control through rivalry only highlight how far you've risen beyond their reach. They see your independence as a challenge to their outdated notions of dominance, but you respond with quiet strength and unwavering resolve. You're no longer willing to waste energy on proving yourself or getting pulled into their toxicity. Instead, you stand grounded in clarity, choosing peace over conflict and growth over games, fully committed to your path and unshaken by their futile efforts to derail you. You've shed the heavy armor of bitterness and the weight of seeking approval from those who never truly valued you. With courageous clarity, you walked away from the toxic webs that once ensnared you, abandoning not just people, but entire chapters of your life that no longer aligned with your growth. Whether it was a draining job, a limiting social circle, or a place that stifled your spirit, you chose liberation over familiarity. This conscious departure marks a profound rebirth, a declaration that your highest good matters above all else. You now move forward unburdened, embracing a future shaped by freedom, healing, and the endless possibilities of your own making. You stand at the crossroads of transformation, embodying vitality and joy that once seemed out of reach. The burdens of past betrayals and toxic ties have dissolved, replaced by an unshakable peace that radiates from deep within. Those who seek to re-enter your life must respect the sacred boundaries you've set, doors closed not out of spite, but out of profound self-respect and the unwavering commitment to your well-being. Every painful chapter, every trial and triumph has woven together into a powerful narrative of resilience and awakening. This convergence reveals a truth greater than any hardship. You are no longer defined by what tried to break you, but by the radiant strength that now propels you into your highest destiny. You were never the reflection of their fears or the sum of their doubts. They cast shadows onto your light in a futile attempt to dim what they couldn't comprehend. Every step you took, every boundary you set, was a testament to the fierce protection surrounding your soul. Your wisdom in navigating finances, your grace in sidestepping chaos, and your unwavering emotional strength unraveled their false narratives thread by thread. The chosen one they sought to suppress has risen like a storm, unstoppable, radiant, and utterly free. They now face the humbling truth. They never confronted a victim, but a force of nature beyond their grasp. You no longer hide, because you were never meant to be concealed. You were destined to shine, unbreakable and limitless. Their so-called power was never real. It was a fragile mirage, sustained only as long as you allowed their false narratives to take root. Their harsh judgments were nothing more than echoes of their own fears, insecurities, and unmet wounds. Their actions reflected their internal battles, not your worth or truth. You are the chosen one who dared to stand alone, choosing yourself when no one else would. You are the unquenchable light that refused to be shadowed by their darkest intentions. They mistook you for something soft and pliable, but you revealed yourself as a relentless force, a diamond forged in the crucible of pressure and adversity. Now the veil is lifted. Now they finally understand the magnitude of the strength they underestimated. They finally grasp the vastness of their mistake, a misjudgment so profound it echoes through the very fabric of your journey. And yet, this revelation is just the beginning for you. Those who once doubted your strength will spend their lives haunted by how utterly blind they were to the unstoppable force standing before them. Meanwhile, you soar higher, your light blazing brighter with every challenge overcome. Genuine love and respect flow naturally to you, drawn by the authenticity and resilience that define your path. Their resistance, once meant to break you, has only forged you into a wiser, stronger version of yourself. The universe has played its hand perfectly, and the irony of their downfall is a triumph that only fuels your unstoppable ascent. The chosen one they once sought to claim and confine has broken every chain, stepping fully into freedom, greatness, and a power that is wholly their own. What they believed they could tame has proven untamable, an endless source of value and strength beyond their grasp or control. This is your moment, chosen one, the veil of hiding lifted, the ascent unstoppable. No longer confined by their narrow expectations, you are free to shape a destiny that reflects your true essence and boundless potential. Your journey is only beginning, and the story you are writing will be nothing short of extraordinary, an epic testament to the power of choosing yourself above all else.